We're speaking today with Mark Rice, who is the VP and General Manager of Altair Semiconductor. Mark, how are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Thanks for being on the program. Could you tell us briefly what your company is up to right now in the LTE and the 4G space?
Yes, our company is a chip provider for consumer devices in that space. Our first devices out were WiMAX. We've also done a variant for a Japanese market, XGP PHS, and we'll be announcing soon our LTE chipset. Our focus from the beginning of our company has always been towards very low power handheld devices, low power, low size, to enable 4G to reach out into these types of devices. In fact, I'm being interviewed here on an iPhone, so I think that's an example of a device that can really benefit from being able to deliver much more high bandwidth services that 4G can enable. So from an LTE perspective, we believe we're early in this market, and we're focused again on bringing that low power advantage out to our customers. We expect that the market will start with dongles, PC attachments like the WiMAX market had, and then move toward embedded products, and we'll be able to support customers with UEs and equipment in the dongle environment in December, January timeframe.
And for those people looking on the internet and maybe got this a little bit later, we're now in 2009 in case someone sees it. No problem at all. So in terms of power usage, can you go into that a little bit, what you think?
Yes. For example, I'll talk about a USB form factor.
Okay.
If people are used to that. In the USB dongle form factor, we'll be able to produce a product that will draw a maximum power of 400 milliamp hour. This is very important because the spec for USB is 500. Today, all of the 4G devices that are out there, for example, in WiMAX, all of them exceed that 500 milliamp hour specification. Fortunately, many PCs can accommodate that, most PCs, but not all, and it does exceed the specification for it. So we're very proud that we'll be able to bring out an LTE product that will come in under that spec and allow you to run other things on your PC USB bus and not create problems that there are potentially today.
So you said you're early for this market. You think there's going to be a lot of time for the market to evolve, and you think there's going to be a large amount of growth in the space?
Well, I think certainly that the direction of bringing more and more bandwidth to the user and how they want to use products is very clear. So the vector is very, very clear. There will be a lot of growth. I think that initially LTE, for example, will be data-centric. Most of the providers, they have good voice services. They don't need to switch over. There's no compelling reason for them to run voice over internet protocol. They've got a circuit switch network. But I think that the growth will be very strong, but I think it'll look somewhat like WiMAX did. That these networks are complex, they're hard to bring up, and it takes time to get these things started. So we don't expect large revenue and large volume. From a silicon manufacturer, you need very large volumes to justify the expenditures that we make developing these chips. We don't expect to see that pay back until probably 2012, 2013, that those types of volumes can be achieved in the market.
Wow, that's going to be a little bit of time. Yeah, well, we all do, right? Well, we know the demand for bandwidth is there, and we know that people want it. So I guess we continuously are surprised by how much bandwidth is being used, and so maybe that will continue, and your estimates will be very conservative. So another question I have is that in terms of the LTE space, there's obviously some discussion of WiMAX versus LTE in the 4G world. Which do you think is going to be the more popular, or do we have to pick a winner? Can they coexist?
I don't think we have to pick a winner. And I think that it really depends on what you're trying to achieve. If you want to get something done now, then there is one choice, it's WiMAX. Those networks are deployable now. LTE will need to go through what every new technology did, 3G technologies, WiMAX, in the early implementation. We have to get the infrastructure in place, the backhaul getting in place, all the things will have to be there to make a robust network. That will not happen overnight. So if time is the is the critical path and you have the spectrum, then WiMAX is the way to deploy immediately. If you are a voice provider that has 3G now, you can take the time to develop LTE. As a chipset supplier, our LTE device is compatible with and can run software for all the 4G standards. We have a software configurable radio, so we are first coding it for LTE because that's immediate need. We have products, as I mentioned, for Japanese market and XGP and WiMAX, but we can and will, when the market demands it, put that code on that LTE device, and it can be software configured to run both. So for us, that doesn't have to be a choice. We can say yes to LTE and WiMAX in the same device, and for our customers that use our device.
Thank you so much for being on the program today, Mark.
Thank you.